Veronica, excellent work here. With a painted wheel, perhaps a tiny touch of white in the violets could improve things, and maybe there's a big jump between yellow, green, and yellow. But a very neat job, handsome work there. And let's see, the digital color wheel is correct, and it's a beautiful design. However, you are having a rather serious um, resolution issue. Your work shouldn't look so rough like this. So I'm going to find some info to point you toward. I believe there's something in questions for the professor and also in discussions from last week, but I'm going to try to attract your attention to how you can correct this. Hi Flo, this is a beautiful painted color wheel, very neat presentation. Looking at it, I'm just thinking that the violet and blue violet are quite dark and might have benefited from the tiniest touch of white. I think you see that this has been a job to accomplish. Now, with your digital wheel, what an ingenious solution to point out the primaries and secondaries by putting just a bit of complementary color in their centers. Um, Here, I think that the RGB values could be a little more precise with some of your colors, and maybe those dots could be centered by budging just pixel by pixel with the up, down, right, left keys. Hello, April. It looks like you've updated your painted color wheel, and the colors actually are quite nice there. I'm wondering whether blue-green might be just a tad dark. Um, this looks like it might be a digital photo versus a scan, and it's easier to see the color in the scan. Onto your digital color wheel. This is lovely and intricate. I would say, I would say try to let the primaries and secondaries be emphasized, and I don't see instances of the exact blue that was given. Take a look at announcements and also in this assignment for RGB values. Hello Juanita, this is a nice digital color wheel. Um, one thing I'll suggest is that you use the up, down, right, left keys to budge your shapes into perfect position. That will move things pixel by pixel. Your RGB values here are good. Hi Donamar, I'm taking a look at your color wheels, and violets are suffering, I believe, in your painted one, and a lot of people struggled with that. I'm thinking the issue here is maybe you don't have the right red, so try a purplish red like quinacridone. Very neat presentation. Thanks for that. Now, onto the digital color wheel. I think if you look in drafts, you'll see a critique of this very same one. You probably have too many reds here. Hi Teresa, your colors in the painted wheel look quite good. The only thing is that it's best to paint on separate paper and cut the colors to the appropriate sizes. Paste them onto the color wheel. Onto your digital color wheel. Well, this looks quite good. I noticed that you titled it Garden, if I'm correct. Remember, we have a naming standard for files in our class. It helps if you can use that, but I see the garden theme here. Also, I have added a color wheel using similar shapes by past student that I think you may like to see. Good job with your RGB values. Hi Gloria, looking at your painted color wheel, I think you don't have the best yellow for the job. Your yellow should not lean toward orange. I think that makes it hard, to make that part of the color wheel, the yellow part, look proper. Otherwise, a very neat assembly. I can see a lot of care was used here. Onto your digital color wheel. Well, Gloria, I want you to think about making a shape and then copying and pasting it and changing the shape's color, because you'll get more consistency in your design that way. Here, I tested these, and the RGB values are close for the primaries and secondaries, but they're not right on. I'd like you to practice using the color picker to get exact colors. Hello Joni, looking at your painted color wheel, what a neat and precise job of arranging the shapes, cutting them out. With the violets, color is not looking correct, and I think that's because of the red you're using for mixing. Otherwise, things seem to be okay. This is a very graceful looking digital color wheel. What a lovely design, and I appreciate the way that the colors just flow. You know, I think there's a possibility that you could even better it more by playing with layers and letting appropriate branches seem to be behind a flower, for example. Remember, you can budge your design components pixel by pixel by using the up, down, right, left keys. What a neat and precise job of arranging your painted color wheel, Amy. This is quite lovely. You know, when I look at your violets and yellow and greens, I wonder if you have, first of all, the right red for making violets, and second, the yellow might be a little on the orange side, which would give you greens that are not as strong as they might be. Now, I noticed that you've been working on arrangement, placement in your digital color wheel, and I really do appreciate this. You know, sometimes I feel as though a star motif is kind of, oh, I don't know, cookie cutter like or what have you, but here you've used the differently sized stars for a rather stunning presentation. Chuck, I recognize the care that's gone into your work this week, which is just to be expected. You know, looking at the painted color wheel, well, I would like you to check the blue-green, for example, and also the violet is looking like magenta, and magenta is not a color that belongs on a painted color wheel. With regard to your digital wheel, it's quite stunning. I really do like this design. I might like it a little better in its previous guise without the metallic background. One little thing, I think cyan might be clipped a touch by the cropping, and I always like to zoom in when I crop in order to get things exact and to not trim off or nip off parts of the design. Hi Christina, it's nice to see your work. I can see a lot of care was used in assembling it. Looking at your painted color wheel, gee, this is very beautiful. The only little place I see where you might have improved it is perhaps between blue and blue-green, where there's kind of a jump in interval. Now, onto the digital color wheel. I want you to understand that the digital color wheel is laid out differently from the painted one. And opposite red, you should have cyan, and I don't see cyan on this wheel at all. So I want you to go back and study the lessons so that you appreciate the difference here, because this is important to grasp.